welcome back to Western Tabletop. Today I'm going to be looking at the Flames of War Hit the Beach starter set. So this is an absolutely amazing kit. This is the version 4 Flames of War starter set, and it has a ton of figures in it. This actual set is a re-release of something that Battlefront put out many years ago called Open Fire, and that was the starter set for Flames of War version 3, and that happened to be my very first box of miniatures. So back in 2015 I started getting into Star Wars X-Wing, and I wanted to take the next steps, and World War II has always been a passion of mine, the history itself. I think many can relate to the importance of that conflict, and want to represent it on the tabletop. So before I got into bolt action, I collected quite a bit of Flames of War, and then I migrated to bolt action for a few years. But recently I've been playing a whole bunch of other systems that really look great in 15mm. So Flames of War is a 15mm World War II army game. So you'll have several tanks, hundreds of infantry on the field, and it's still very popular, but it's just not my cup of tea. However, the miniatures in this set alone are worth the price, and this is probably one of the, I would say, best introductory miniature sets to World War II out there. So I thought, why not pick up the new set and do an unboxing? I thought I'd unbox this and take a look at what's changed since the initial Open Fire set, and kind of tell you my plans on what I want to do with this. So just got my little cutter here, and we'll open this sleeve and take a look. But yeah, this set costs $75 Australian, so it's going to be even cheaper overseas. But I know you get a decent chunk of US infantry, at least 8 Shermans, 3 Panzer IVs, and about 100 German troops. So let's take a look at this. So yeah, as you can see, absolutely jam-packed with sprues. So I'll bring up a couple of these to frame. This is the V1 rocket, which is really a terrain piece. It doesn't have a function within Flames of War as far as I know. But yeah, a very nice little inclusion. It has some rails that the rocket can sit on. Here we've got a German pack gun. So this is the German pack gun, and I believe you get a couple of sprues of these. So yeah, here's a second one, and we'll just bring that V1 rocket back in frame with a little bit more detail with the camera focus. Now you can see a lot of US Army colored vehicles here. So these are all of the various Sherman sprues. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regular Sherman sprues, and then you've got some various turret options for the Shermans that allow them to take the larger weapons. I really don't know my American vehicles too well, but all I do know is that these are the upped gun versions of the Sherman. So the spruce says Sherman 76, so I would imagine that these are indeed the 75s. Get a whole bunch of gaming dice. And then let's have a look at the German stuff. So in here we get 3 sprues that will consist of a Panzer IV. Now, back in version 3, most of the sprues in this were pretty much identical, other than the fact that you got Stugs instead of Panzer IVs. Back when I was playing Flames, I really wished this kit had Panzer IVs, and now that I'm collecting 15mm again, I really wish it had Stugs, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. And then we have the infantry sprues, and there's quite a lot of minis on here. So these are all German grenadiers, all in various poses. So that's one sprue of those. And then the next, again, this is all, half of it's American, and there's some German grenadiers here at the top. So these are fantastic. I absolutely love these infantry figures. I know lots of people are fans of the Battlefront metal miniatures, but it's particularly this plastic sprue that's always excited me. Then you've got all of the various bases, so they're multi-part bases. You know, a rifle squad might have 5 figures on a base, and maybe an MG squad has 4, etc. For Flames of War, you get the V4 rulebook, nice and compact. These rules are really well laid out. I actually am a fan of Flames of War rules in general. There are a few gripes I have with the system that I'll discuss in a little bit, but that didn't stop me from buying this. So if you're into Flames of War, great way. You get 2 forces, you get the rule book, you also get these handy unit cards, which I wish they had way back in version 3. So they give you all the various stats that you need to know for your vehicle. You know, how much is it shooting when it's moving or halted, what is its range, its firepower, and what kind of saves it needs to make, and its armor. So those are fantastic. You also get a quick how to play guide for Flames of War, so that's really cool. We've also got some commander sprues here for the commanders on the tanks, and then you've got a assembly guide, so it really details out where things go, and with the various sort of infantry groups, it tells you which figures go on what base, because some are modeled as a commander, some are Panzerfaust, some are MG42, some are just rifles, and then on the reverse you've got the American instructions as well. These miniatures themselves, because they're all single piece, they take absolutely no time to snap off these sprues and glue up. So it's a very quick way to muster up an army or 2 for Flames of War. But I didn't actually buy this for Flames of War whatsoever. We did some 15mm scale bolt action a little while back, and it's really got me looking into other systems for World War II, particularly in the smaller scale. And I really like the smaller scale because you can fit in way more troops, and I think you can really make some amazing scenic pieces on the board. On a 6x4 in 15mm, you can really go to town with making an excellent terrain setting. So now to fill you in on why I picked this up. So the next kind of systems I'm looking to try, one that's caught my eye in particular is CrossFire. And CrossFire is a infantry-centric war game. That there are tanks, but they're kind of a minor asset. You might have 1 on each side. But what is very unique about CrossFire is its activation and initiative mechanic that's really got me interested. So CrossFire Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it is a rule set from the mid-90s. And what's really interesting about this, you should probably check out the videos from Lindy Beige, the YouTube historian. He does quite a few videos on CrossFire itself. But what I find really cool about it is a few things. Its movement system is terrain based, so there isn't any range rulers in the game at all. So for movement, you're moving your figures to the next nearest terrain piece, and for shooting, there is anything that is in line of sight can be shot. So what's really interesting about the crossfire mechanic is you'll attempt to move, and any enemies that can see you within that movement can kind of halt you where you are out in the open and choose to fire at you. So it's basically very similar to the bolt action ambush rule, but it's effective across an entire force. So the player with the initiative can choose to move, he can choose to rally, he can choose to shoot, etc. If he does actions, typically the enemy can react with fire. And if they succeed in pinning or suppressing or killing the enemy, they actually take the activation turn and then can do shooting, moving, rally until they fail. It's a really interesting mechanic, and I'm actually surprised that it's from so long ago, yet I actually haven't come across an activation system that's similar. So Crossfire is definitely one that I'm going to be trying out quite soon. The other thing that our local club is really starting to get involved in is 7 Days to the Rhine River, which is a Cold War miniatures game. And for World War II, they have a variant that's been quite successful, I think, released around 2015, which is called Iron Cross. And that game also has an intricate but interesting mechanic to activation. So I'm actually keen to try some World War II in a smaller scale, so I can fit lots of lovely terrain like this photo here and lots of infantry. So I'm keen to give those games a go. It seems that Flames of War, although was stagnant here in Perth for a number of years, is really starting to pick up steam. So I might be looking into that as well. Let me know what you think about this box set in particular, maybe about Crossfire, maybe your thoughts on Iron Cross or Flames of War version 4 as well. I said earlier that I had a little bit of a gripe about this system, and that specifically relates to the restrictions within a list. So what I found quite annoying early on when I was collecting this stuff is that I couldn't have a mixture of vehicles. If I wanted Panzer IVs with Stugs and a Puma and, just basically a cool model of everything that I picked up, there wasn't a list that would facilitate that, and if it did, then I couldn't have infantry or the other way around and whatever else. I guess that's a game design on compatibility, fairness. It might be a way to scale the game for players that are historically minded and want to recreate those battles as they happened. It might be from the tournament scene to balance the game. But for me, it kind of seems like a money grab. If I want to field Stugs, and I want to field Panzer IVs and a Tiger and infantry, why can't I? I don't know if that's quite changed in version 4. It very much could have, but that was kind of my initial issue with Flames, whereas I found bolt action way less restrictive, and that's kind of where my hobby journey went. And now I'm looking back to go to the 15mm and try some other systems. So if you have any other recommendations on other World War II games, that maybe don't get quite the limelight. I'd be really happy to know what you enjoy and why. So please leave some comments in the video for us. What I do want to reiterate that I might not have quite so eloquently when I was originally filming this is that although I might have some disagreements with the list building decisions within Battlefront, I don't want to discredit those that really do love this game. Also, I honestly think that there is no better option to starting in this hobby. So if you have any interest in World War II whatsoever, if you have any interest in historical gaming, you have any interest in really getting started with a war game, this box is absolutely fantastic. And I would recommend, if you can find it, is to just go all in. Try it out. It was one of the best decisions that I made. Going in for version 3 of this game was one of the best decisions that I made. It really got me involved in wargaming as a hobby. It started me into model painting. It really just kicked everything off, and I've met so many fantastic people along the way, whether that be at the local club, that's at the tournaments that we play at, or I guess the people that I meet online. So this was my first way into wargaming, and I've always wished that I could rebuy this set. So it was my first, and unfortunately things got damaged, things got sold, etc. And I always wanted to rebuy this set. So it's really cool that Battlefront re-released this. It's a shame that it doesn't come with Stugs this time, but yeah, that's just me being funny. So the main point that I was trying to get across is the value in this set is insane. I don't think that you could find anything else out there that can even compete with the amount of miniatures that you're getting for the setting. You're given 2 complete forces. So for the Americans, you're given 8 Shermans, if that's my maths is right. 6 + 2 is 8, and then 32 parachuter rifle. For the Germans, this is more of a infantry company, so you have a company commander, you have 2 combat platoons of Panzer Grenadiers, so that's 58 figures. Then you got 2 packs and 3 P4s. You get the rule book, a quick starting guide, the flying bomb, the unit cards, and the dice. The only thing that else that isn't as fantastic value as this used to be. This used to come with, in the Open Fire series, the fantastic cardboard terrain. So you had cardboard terrain for forests, you had some village houses, some stone walls, etc. You still can get that stuff. It's just in the Gale Force 9 Tanks series, which also has got a rebranding not too long ago. Gale Force 9 rebranded their Tanks series, which is a Flames of War miniatures game, as World of Tanks. So there is a World of Tanks miniatures game out there in the same vein as Star Wars X-Wing. And if you're interested in that game, please let us know in the comments, and I'll do my best to try and source a copy. And we can do my impressions, review, etc., maybe a demo. Please subscribe and like us on YouTube. You can find us, Western Tabletop, on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And thank you very much for watching.